Please like and subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
So it's like one of those old war movies where the grizzled old sergeant is walking through the forest and he stops and he looks at his men and he says, "It's too quiet." Except I am in 6th grade and I have just come home from school and walked into my house and it is indeed too quiet. Like my dog is not running up to me throwing that little party that your dog throws for you. Even my refrigerator is like, "Dude, it's getting warm in here, but I am not gonna click on and draw attention to me." So I know something's wrong and I don't know what it is, and I drop my bag and I head straight for the kitchen because if I am about to meet my doom, I am going to have a snack first. I get to the kitchen, I open up the refrigerator, and I pull out the milk, and I'm about to take a swig right out of the container. And I see out of the corner of my eye, I see my mother sitting at our dining room table, and she's sitting perfectly still, perfectly silently, like this big black widow spider just waiting for her favorite prey to come home. And spread out in front of her is the contents of my stash. Not my drugs, but the things that make me feel most okay about myself and about living in this world. There are my bras and my panties and my nylons and my skirts and my tops. And just as I make eye contact with my mother, all 8 of them, she starts. "What the hell's the matter with you? What kind of a faggot are you? I'm going to take you to a therapist and he's going to fix you. You're a real son of a bitch, you know that?" That one was always my personal favorite because technically I couldn't argue. This was not the first time, nor would it be the last time that I would endure one of these sessions, and they could go on for hours. And the way I would make it through it was I made myself a promise. I promised that as soon as I could, as soon as I turned 18 and I could get out of the house, I would do it, and I would go and I would have the sex change operation that I so desperately needed, and I would never look back. And as long as I could make that promise to myself, I had hope. That was 6th grade. 7th grade, 2 important things happened to me. The first was that I sprouted from about 5'0" up to about 6 feet tall. When my shins tell this story, they refer to it as the year from hell. Seriously, there are no photos of me from that time period where I'm wearing pants that fit. The other thing that happened was my voice dropped, and it went from being like happy little kid voice to being somewhere between James Earl Jones and Barry White. Now, when Barry White's voice comes out of a 14-year-old white boy's body, people tend to notice. And they tend to like it. I mean, I had a girlfriend in high school who referred to me as having a pure sex voice. Later, when I was an undergraduate in college, there was a woman who used to call me long distance for phone sex. That was pretty rad. Later still, when I became a pastor and I would start preaching on Sunday mornings, there would not be a dry pew in the place. Yeah, baby. Jesus gonna love you just right. Unfortunately for me, towards the end of my 7th grade year, I realized that at just over 6 feet tall and with Barry White's voice, that there was no group of women anywhere on the planet that would accept me as one of their own. I also realized that I had zero chance of ever walking into a ladies' room without being hit with purses and streaks of terror. And as soon as I had that realization, I no longer had hope. Which brings me to Act 3. When the curtain goes up on Act 3, it finds me sitting alone in my bedroom after school, and I am surrounded by the contents of my stash, and I have an X-Acto knife in one hand and an upturned wrist. And I am crying. I am crying big, embarrassing sobs, just tears running down my cheeks because I don't want to die. And that realization in that moment is perfect. Like, that is exactly what you want in that moment. I don't want to die, but at the same time, I did not know how to go on living. I knew that something had to change, and I didn't know what it could be. I didn't know how to make that change. And I ended up in the next 20 minutes making a bargain with myself. And the bargain was this: that only part of me was going to die that night. Only the best part of me. Only the part of me that people liked. Only the part of me that contained joy. Only the part of me that was feminine. And she got bound up. She got gagged. She got stabbed in the back and buried alive deep in the back of my mind, where even the most dedicated therapist would never, ever find her. And I wiped away the tears, and I bucked up, and I endured for almost 20 more years, until one day when I realized that I could no longer keep up my side of the bargain that I had made with myself that day, and that I no longer had to. Be well, Milwaukee.